here at Studio Gobo, which basically means I'm a level designer, so I'm responsible for designing, building and maintaining the levels, and I get to play with the Lego bricks, if you like, making fun worlds for the kids to run around in. What I thought I'd show you today is just kind of real simple high-level overview of how I go about that sort of thing. So the first thing we do, and the first thing with Guardians and Infinity, is it's a metrics game. It's a traversal game, so it's kind of like playing, I don't know, Prince of Persia or Assassin's Creed. It's all about how the character interacts with the world. So one of the first things we do is we have all the metrics defined, so kind of single jumps, double jumps, all the things the character can do, and there's big spreadsheets to detail all this stuff. Again, angles you can run on, jumping across gaps, just all sorts of metrics and traversal. And what I get from that as well, early on, I mean this is sort of right back sort of 10 months ago or so, I'll develop a metrics assault course or test level. So here we've got a really early Star-Lord with a Buzz Lightyear rocket pack on his back, but he's got single jumps, double jumps, and it's just an assault course that the team can load up and test all of the characters, and you can see what's fun, what works, what doesn't, and any new metrics that have changed from Infinity 1 to Infinity 2 get tested in here. So I'll just let it play through. You can see all the little ledge hangs, and this is the sort of stuff you would have seen in the demo already. Pipe climbs. But it's just important to nail this stuff straight away before we move on to actually building anything, so we know what works and what doesn't. And we bring in other characters from the other playset, like Hulk, just to see how far he can jump compared with like a normal character. Because we weren't quite sure at the start what characters are going to cross over to on what playsets. So again, we're testing out the wall crawls. And then we're bringing flying characters in like Iron Man, so it's a very, very early version of Iron Man. Seeing what sort of gaps he can fly through, how fast he flies. So that's that, and then when we start building the levels, I mean this is quite a recent image, but you can kind of see the flow, very much like an Assassin's Creed or something like that. You've got pipe climbs, single jumps, double jumps, it just flows. It's like a racing game, it's all about the pacing. Keep the player moving, keep it fun. And then from that, then I start to actually develop world ideas, and this is a real sort of crude, warts and all presentation, if you like. Kind of like we'll sit around with the designers and the coders and the mission people, and we'll just draw on the walls. We've got all like walls we can draw on, so it's quite good fun. And we just come up with the ideas based on the script and everything else of how we want something world to look. And we move forward with that. We draw it in slightly more detail again on whiteboards. Figure out the missions that are going to happen in there. So clear the habitation is there, which is what you would have seen over there on the screen. And that again gets concepted a little bit more. Do a real simple block out so we can send around to a team and we can talk to Disney about it and sort of say this is what we're planning. And then I start drawing really crude sketches, sort of drilling down into different areas. Like this was like an amphitheatre. This is actually the habitation again with all the buildings, with the gun turrets up top, how it might work. And I give my crude drawings to a concept artist, and he draws what it will probably look like. He gave me all the mission information. And I start blocking out in 3D, very crude, just simple geometry, simple primitives, just to get an idea of spatial awareness and flow and how it all holds together and if it's going to be fun. And we do a lot of 2D design as well, like here, we're looking at the whole play set in the early days, looking at where the sort of gameplay, like the platforming and the destruction and the combat, and this allows us to see if we've got any hot spots or any cold spots. Like down here you can see there's an area which isn't covered with anything, so we don't want to spend time and money on that area because we need to figure out what we can put in it or we lose it because it's just, we need to plan ahead. And then again, what's more paper design, just simple stuff, where the enemies can go, where there's doors, where there's power cells, that sort of thing. And then I go in and start making it a little bit more like what it might be in the final game, putting in the metrics, the yellow glows, like the ledge hangs, starting putting in a little bit of artwork to get a flavour of what it might be like. And then we start bringing it actually into games, start testing it. You can see still no textures, just pure geometry, just to see what happens. And at this point we start play testing it as well with kids and user tests, just to see what it's like. And again, it goes back to more block out, start putting in the wall crawls, more metrics, gets a bit more detailed. then the artists get their hands on it, starts to look more like a world than my Lego blocks. And then this is a kind of, I don't know, a little while ago, that's how the lighting was, to what you're seeing in game now for the final lighting, the final render pass. So that's what you would have just seen in the demo. So that's one area, that's the habitation area. So it starts off like that, scribbles on a board, ends up like that in game over the course of a series of months, back and forth between me and Disney and everyone else on the team. So another similar area, same sort of thing again. Mining, we even put gags in, like we were talking about Cosmo the dog, and we were saying, okay, cool, maybe we can deliver a big giant bone sort of thing as a gag. So we're always talking about fun things we can do, just draw in on the board, whiz through this. I'm handing my rough block outs to a concept artist saying, look, I want to go from the habitation area around the back through this puzzle section, through this platforming section. We start to sketch it out a little bit more detail. We reference the film images and any sort of script stuff and any reference we've got to try and make sense of what we're actually going to build. All the time the designers and myself are working through little gameplay set sequences and props. So here we've got like jet burners, we've got moving mine carts, vents, and again I'm sitting with the concept artist and saying this is what they're actually going to look like in game, figuring it out and figuring out if they play alright and look alright and they can read properly. And again, concept artist is working a little bit more, trying to bounce ideas back with me, calling out the platforming, the burners, the different things, the gameplay. And then it goes back to me again, and I'm starting to block it out, and it's all just in 3D space. So it's in what we call a hollow deck, where you load in, you just run around and see how it all feels. Then the renderers start to put in a bit more geometry again, gets more and more detailed, frame rate starts to get slower and slower. And then back to what you're seeing in game. This is you wouldn't have seen this today, but this is a new area around the back, and mining, very much industrial, pistons moving. So again, from paper through to final. And if I go back to these ideas, this is my grey block testing, and again the concepts. Months and months, right back at the start, we have a few months of prototyping where we just come up with gameplay ideas. So one of the ideas we came up with the industrial area was to have these flame burners. So this is what they look like 10, 11 months ago, whenever it was. We're just testing the ideas, vertical, horizontal, different mechanics, compared to what they actually end up looking like in game now, which is these things here. So again, you're just platforming across them, trying to avoid them. It's just a timing puzzle, but they look really nice and really good fun. So that's that, and it all takes place in Maya, so like what I've got open here. That's our level editing, so we build it all in Maya and we edit it all in Maya as well. So here I've got like a jump pad, trigger boxes that I'm moving around. There's turrets down here, so I'm responsible for mapping all these things, placing them all in and getting all the gameplay working. And every time I map something, if anyone's familiar with other engines like UDK and Crytek and things like that, we've got our back-end engine. This is the sort of sci-fi bit, nerdy bit if you like, where it's just visual scripting. So this is the coding. We just say this turret triggers this and does this, and enemies kill this, and doors open. It just allows me to make the world come alive, and it's all just scripted in the background. So another example of that would be, you've got a door, I want it to open and close. I'm just triggering it on a button and telling it to move, play a sound effect when it moves. So it's really, really simple, low-level coding, but in a visual way. And yeah, and that's kind of a very, very quick and high-level overview of how I make the levels for Guardians and Pirates of the Caribbean as well. Anyone's got any questions or anything? Cool.
What's the most different part of this?
The most difficult part?
Yeah.
I don't know, none of it's really difficult, it's just all good fun really. I suppose the hardest part is you know, waiting for things like the script and making sure that it appeals to the movie, it's similar to the movie and the fans are going to like it as well, because obviously Iron Man, all these guys are very iconic and it's very much a fan thing, so we've got to make sure that it works for those guys as well as just being a game. So that was quite tricky.
How do you find the balance between it's good playable for kids and let's say for us core gamers as well?
Yeah, so I think that's a good question. It's like, So obviously, you know, the game is a lower age demographic, but obviously we're putting a lot of depth in there as well. So you've got all the different coins and the different characters and the way you can upgrade them, the skill tree and stuff like that. I think that appeals to any sort of gamer really, and just that added depth moving through. And then with the traversal systems as well, you can just run around the level, and you can see younger kids just run around the level, whereas the older people that we get in to test it, they'll go and explore everywhere and find every little nook and cranny and try and find all the pickups and things. So yeah, we try to cater for everyone, and obviously, you know, I'm an older gamer myself, so I try and make it fun for myself as well as watching the user tests and the children play it as well.
So you can change between single and multiplayer on the fly. Will this
Yes.
change also the difficult level?
There is a
On the
difficulty.
fly?
Yeah, there is a. You can actually go into the menu and change the difficulty, and that will affect things like number of enemies, health, damage, and stuff like that. So if you're finding it too hard, you can change the difficulty. But I think the great thing about Infinity really that we've learned is, like you've seen in the demo, I can jump here as a dad and say that my kid's playing it, and I can go, okay, he's finding that hard, so jump on my vehicle or jump on my back as Rocket Raccoon, and I'll take you through this bit, and you can play together. And then once you've got through a really tough bit, you can just drop out and let the kid carry on playing again, which is brilliant. I think it's really good for parents.
When you started Disney Infinity 1, you only had like a couple of toys for the toy box.
Yes.
Many people were like a little bit annoyed about that because you had to collect everything just to play around with the toy box. Will it be different this time? Will you have to be more stuff in the toy box?
There is a lot more unlocked from the word go, and I think, you know, they're addressing those issues, sort of things. So people have got a lot more stuff to build straight away, and I think you can see from the demo as well. From our point of view, we're unlocking stuff a lot quicker. So as soon as you get into the game, you start to unlock toy box pieces left, right, and centre. And the cool thing about us, again, is things like this turret here. You'll be able to pull that will, you unlock that by the game, and it will be straight in the toy box.
Okay.
So you better put that in, and we've got all of our enemies unlock in the toy box as well. So it's quite cool. I think you know, for the future, the kind of holy grail where we want to be is more like a Little Big Planet or something where we can literally put out a chunk like, we've got what I've got there, and that will be a building in a toy box, and that's kind of where we're going with this stuff. So users should be able to create the worlds exactly like I create the worlds. Not as good, but they should be able to do that. So
That's true.
thanks.
And how do you make the characters? Because the movie is not yet in the cinemas.
That's right.
So how do you make them move like you think is in the movie, or do you see them?
Yeah, so obviously we do see some stuff up front. You know, there's obviously a lot of security around that sort of stuff, but yeah, we get to see images, and we get descriptions handed down to us about what the characters can do. And the team over in Avalanche, they deal with all the characters and all the moves, so they're actually dealing with that side of things. But we put requests in, so like with my metrics and the holo deck that was sort of shown in the assault course, I will feed back to them and go, yeah, you know what, you've made Hulk jump over 3 buses, like let's tone him down a little bit, or you know, Star-Lord's not jumping quite high enough, can we make him jump a little bit further, can we have his blasters a little bit more powerful, a little bit faster. So it's just back and forth. And then obviously Marvel then, they play into that as well, because they go, what are we doing with Hulk? Sort of thing. So yeah, it's good. It all bounces back and forth.
So just to get this straight in my head. So you get like 3 different playsets with the Spider-Man ones and the Guardians and the, what was the last one?
The starter pack is the Avengers.
Yeah. So you have like 3 different adventures then, or how will it work? Or can you?
Yeah, so it's much like when we had Infinity 1, we had Pirates of the Caribbean, Monsters University, and the different play sets, Lone Ranger, Toy Story, all that sort of stuff. So Guardians is a play set, and it's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours worth of gameplay, and you've got the characters for Guardians, and 2 of the Guardians characters will cross over into the Avengers playset, and 2 of the Avengers playset, like Iron Man and Nova, will come into the Guardians playset. But each playset is designed to be sort of 4 or 5 hours long, plus then the toy box.
Okay, cool.
Could you explain to us how do you work with Avalanche?
How do we work with them?
Yes.
So obviously there's daily Skype calls, so we're back and forth on Skype all the time, constantly. I send my work to them, they send their comments back. They're over here, we go over there. It's very much like we're part of the same company. We're all part of the same family. It's not like a publisher relationship that we normally have. It's really nice. It's good.
how do you make sure it's that people can see it's made by Studio Gobo, not some other studio? Because you work with characters, you don't design yourself. You didn't make up yourself, so.
Yeah, I guess that just comes across in the cool stuff that we do. You know, everyone asks, well, who did that? Because it's cool, and then people get to know what we do. Obviously, there is our branding and everything in the game as well. So, yeah, I think that's probably the easiest way of explaining it.
Mm-hmm.
People always, if you see something you like, you ask where it come from. So that's it. I think we got a really good press from Pirates of the Caribbean, and Pirates of the Caribbean playset was called out as being a really good playset, Infinity One. So that did us a load of good favours, and now I think Guardians again will be a really good playset for everyone. So.
Is there something typical that if other developers see it and say, oh, that's Tom who did that, or?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's it. They'll word of mouth is the key, really. And you guys will go and tell how great you are. So.
But it's not visible in the game. Like Tony said with the Easter eggs, or maybe there's more.
No, so I think in terms of Gobo, I mean obviously the branding and the logo and stuff like that will be front end, and you've got the credits and things like that. But we're not physically putting any kind of advertising as such in game. No, there is little Easter eggs here and there.
No, but I mean not per se advertising, but maybe the jumps or the worlds or the special effects.
What, just from us?
Yeah.
There's little Easter eggs, yeah, I won't say too much, but there's things that nod towards us, I guess. So, yeah, you know, there's friendly competition in there. Everyone strives to be the best playset, so we're striving to be the best playset with Guardians. Okay. I don't know what's next.